Hey guys, good evening. Guys, if you're able to see my screen, just type yes in the chat box so that we can get started. Yeah, thanks for the confirmation. So let's begin today's session on API testing. Okay, the upcoming topics. What are the topics that are remaining? We are going to see today. Fine. So before going anywhere, let's go to the location and let's use the notes to go further as part of the training and all. Okay, so yeah. So this is in the last session I covered this particular topic. Now let's move on to this topic number 17 here. Okay, use of tools in API testing. Let me open it here. Use of tools in API testing. So why we have to use tools for performing the API testing? Okay, use of tools in performing API testing is the topic. What will happen if the tools are not there? First of all, guys, will the APIs will have any UI, user interface? Will the API will have any user interface? No, right? APIs won't have any user interface. And in general, we use some tools like Postman to perform testing of the APIs. That we do that. But what if such kind of tools are not used for performing the API testing? What will happen? Let me show you what is the disadvantage of not using the tools in performing the API testing first. Okay. So for that, I'll take you to one application here. Okay, I'll take you to this application. I'll right click here and select inspect option. And here I'll go to the network tab. Here nothing is there. I'll just again press enter key here. I'll again browse this web page here so that an API request will be made to the server and all. You see, here a lot of API calls have been made. As you can see, a lot of API calls have been made. I'll go with the first one. And you can clearly see that a request URL is there. Okay, this is a API request. API request this is. And API method is there. Okay, get, post, like the different methods is there. In this kind of case, get method is being used and all those stuff. Now, I'm not passing any data though. I'm not passing any data in this case. Okay, I'm not passing any data though. Okay, fine. Anyhow, in this case, if I want to perform the testing of this API, is it possible without using some tools like Postman and all? If I'm not using them, if I'm using only this browser for testing these APIs, is it possible for me to modify this name? Is it possible for me to modify this particular name from the browser? Tell me, guys. Can I edit this and then send a request here from the browser? No, right? Can I change this to get to some other thing like post or something, patch or post or update or something? No, we cannot do that. And also, guys, and also if I go to this another website page and here, if I give some credentials here, okay, let me give some credentials here. I'll just clear all this stuff. Okay, so that it will be clean. Login. And here a request is being sent to the server. This is a request. Now here, this is a request. Here request method is post. We cannot modify this URL. While performing testing, guys, when you are performing the API testing, you should have the facility of modifying this URL to see what is happening when you modify any aspects of this request URL. Or if you modify this method from post to any other thing, what kind of activities are being done, also we have to verify. Not only that, guys, you are passing the data. I should be able to modify this data. Okay, I should be able to modify this data, guys. Okay, I should be able to modify this particular data, email and password. I should be able to modify, right? While sending. All these are not possible from the browser. That's the reason, guys, we have to use tools. Okay, tools will help us in modifying different aspect of these APIs and then see how the API results are coming. That's what is actually testing means, right? That's what is actually testing means. So without having the tool, okay, without using the tools like Postman and all, if I directly use a browser and start performing the testing like this, it's not possible for me to do a detailed testing of this request URL or port. I cannot change anything, even the data also I cannot change. Under the payload, we have the data that I'm sending along with the request URL. If anything I cannot modify here, okay? So what I will do here to perform API testing in a proper way here is, Okay, I'll copy this URL, request URL for this login functionality. I'll copy this request URL. For example, I'll go to this Postman tool. I'll just open this Postman tool. I'll open this Postman tool. Just wait for that. So here, hello, I'll say, click on this plus, here paste, here put post method, right? I need to change it to the post method, for example. And in the body, I need to send the raw data in JSON format. I don't know what format I need to send, but here I'm assuming that it should be in JSON format or something. Okay. So email is there, email colon, okay, like that you have to give. I'll give a try. Okay, visualize and try, like, email colon, okay, then double quotes. In that I'll give this, copy and try to give this here. Put a comma here. Do we have to give this email also in double quotes? I don't know, but I'll try. Yeah, looks like. And then password is there, colon, password. Okay, comma password, and here double quotes. In that I'll give the password here, whatever the password I'm passing here, I'll give. I don't know whether this will work or not. Okay, if I have the permissions, it will work. Then I need to, you see, this is a post, this is a request URL, and this is a payload or input data. Okay, in the form of JSON, I'm giving, clicking on send button. Let's see what is happening. I got 200 okay, and I got the response in the form of HTML format. But if I say JSON, it's not happening. It's in HTML format only. What is this? I don't know. Okay, so we are getting some HTML page here as a response. In that HTML page, what is there? Let's see. Okay, if I log in here, what type of HTML page is coming? Let's see. Click on the login button, and let's see the response here. Let's see the response here. What is the kind of response we are getting? We are getting this HTML page. In that HTML page, what is there? Let's see. Okay. Okay. So here credentials are not correct, it is saying. So maybe I need to give something different. I'll give 2 and try here. Login. No, it's not happening. 3 I'll try. Is 3 working? Yes, 3 is working. So I'll give it give 3 here. Okay. In the real application also 7 and 2 are not working. I'll give and just click send. Let's see what is happening now. Again here 200 okay has come. But what kind of response I got, I don't know. But I'll give a try here to understand what exactly is happening here. Okay. I'll scroll down and see what is happening here. Okay. Just keep going here. Cart and all desktops. All the menu options are coming maybe. Okay. Account login. Okay, here also some warning is coming. No match for email address or password kind of warning message is coming. Okay. No match for email address or password is coming. That means we are not really logged in. Okay, but it shows that here we have logged in, but here it's not showing whether we have logged in or not. It's not showing, guys. Okay, fine. So maybe the kind of I don't know whether this is the kind of format it is expecting or not. I don't know how to send the data. I don't know. Okay. So the developers of this application need to provide me some documentation on how I need to pass the data into the request URL, but I don't know about that. So instead of that, since I don't have the idea about the application and the developers, how they are creating this API or build this API, how we need to pass the payload, since the developers have not provided anything of this particular application, I cannot test the API of this application. What I will do instead is I'll just, instead of that, I cannot practice API testing on this application, but I can give an example like this, what I can do and all. So instead, what I can do is I'll just go here to the request.in. I'll just go to the request.in and try to take similar one, similar to login functionality, whatever it is there, I'll take here. For example, here, what is that? Login successful is there, right? I'll take this one, okay? Here we have this request URL, open this, and this is a request URL. I'll go here to the Postman tool, I'll click on the plus button and paste it here. And what kind of method it is? The kind of method it is having is post method. I'll give the post method here. And how to pass the data, I have to go to the bodies, say raw and JSON, because it's clearly mentioned here, like, JSON format. Okay, I'll copy this JSON format and paste it here. Okay, once I paste it here, then I need to click on the, even expected response and expected response and response code are also, status code are also given here. Click on send button. If you get the missing API key, you already know, right, how to get one. Okay, you can go here to the website page and you can add this key. At a global level also you can add, or you can add it here. Okay, how to get the key here? This is a key. So just click on this and here you will get a key. Copy this key. I think this is the one. And this is the value. Okay, if you give that, then only you'll get your postman tool will get the permissions to work on it. Okay. Okay, okay, it's coming in the query parameters. I don't know whether this should come in the query parameters here, but I'll click on send and see what is happening. 200. Okay, and some kind of thing is coming. This is not what it's expected anyhow. I'll just remove this. I'll delete this. Okay, so here we need to add in some format. What is the thing, guys? I don't remember this. Earlier we have done this, right? We'll add some key kind of stuff somewhere. API key maybe. Okay, I'll try to add this API key and see whether this is a place I need to add. Authorization, I think so. Just click on send and see whether it is working fine or not. Still, it's not working fine. Body is there. Raw and body is missing. Somehow body is missing, guys. Let's go and add the body here. Just give me a second. Login successful. Copy this. Paste it here. And here, authorization also. I gave the key and thing and save this. Okay. Save. This is the request and all.
Please make post request, sir.
Oh, this is post. How did it got changed? Okay. Did I not change it? Okay. Fine. Post request. This is a link, right? This is login actually. Open link. I don't know what happened. Just give me a second, guys. Just give me a second. I'll do one thing. There's some confusion going on. I'll just remove all this stuff. Don't save. I'll just clear all this stuff so that things will be clear for us. I don't know where I'm entering and where I'm working because of this confusion. Let me clear all this stuff. I'll close all this stuff. And here, just go here and change the details. Okay. Simply I'll change the details to post. And here, I think this is the one, right? Login. API login. Okay. So API login is there. Then I'll go to authorization. In that authorization, I'll go to API key. API key and this value is also there and it's added as a header. Header is a better one. If you go to header also, here also we can add, I think so. We'll go to the body and here select raw and then copy this. Okay. Copy this email and password and paste it here. Okay. Now click on send button to see whether it is working fine. Yeah, it's working fine. Okay. Yeah, those are the changes I need to do. Yeah, that was a mistake. Okay. Some kind of confusion was there. That's okay. Now, guys, I was explaining about why we have to use some tools, right? Why we have to use the tools for performing the API testing. Before using the tools, okay, before using the tools, it was not possible for me to, while performing testing of this particular API, it's not possible for me to change anything else. What if I want to change the method? Okay, if it is post, I'm getting a proper response and status code and response, right? I cannot simply say that I have perfectly tested. Okay, if I'm getting the okay, if I get the proper response status code and response, okay, JSON response and all, I cannot directly say that the API is working fine. Okay, as a software tester, I need to change a lot of details in this API and then perform testing. For example, from post, I need to change to something known as get and see what is happening. Click on send. What is happening? Here 200 okay is coming, but I'm whatever you see some other things are coming here. Some user details are coming here. Okay, some user details are coming here. Okay, some name here, something are coming. Okay, is it correct or not? I even don't know. Okay, you see with this login thing, if I am giving get means I'm getting some details. Can this details will come with this kind of request URL? We need to go and check with our developers and say that we have to report this kind of observation to the developer saying that what if I trigger a get kind of command, get no HTTP request thing. Okay, this API request. Okay, API request method. If I get put it as get instead of post, if I put it as okay API method as request method as get, I'm getting this kind of user details. Okay, so you can report a defect on this. You say, can you do this kind of testing? Can you do this kind of testing in from the website page? Without the postman tool, can you perform this kind of testing? Tell me, guys. Is it possible for you to perform this kind of testing where you can change the API method from post to get and all? Can you verify that? You cannot do that, right? So that's one of the example. That's one of the use of the using the tools. Okay, while performing the API testing, that is one of the you know advantages of using the tools. Yes, different methods we cannot verify, and also here domain name is there. What if you give a different domain name? A, B, C you are giving and click on send button. You see? Could not send request because this kind of domain name, this is working fine. This is working fine. If you are getting could not send request, if you give some random kind of stuff, right? This is a proper response only. Okay. This is a proper thing only. We should not get any response. So request is only working. Other thing if I change, it's not working. And here dot in is there. What if I change it to dot com? What if I change to dot com and click on send? You see, for not found. Requested resource could not be found. It is available on .in, not on .com. Okay, this kind of thing is correctly coming. Okay, I'll change it back to in. All this kind of tests we have to do, guys. Okay, what is happening when I modify the URL? Okay, when I modify this API method. Okay, then if you go here and go to the body and if you give the valid email address, valid password, what is happening? You're getting a token. What if you don't? If you give an invalid email address, invalid password, I can change it, right? I can. What if you don't pass any email or password? What is happening? If you want to do all this testing kind of stuff and click on send and all, missing username or email should come here in this case. Okay, like the different type of messages you are getting. All this kind of testing will be possible with the help of tool only. Without tool, can you perform testing of the APIs? Without tool, is it possible for you to perform testing of the APIs, guys, in this manner? Directly from the website pages, can you do? No. The purpose of the tools is this, guys. Okay, why we need some test? What is the use of the tools in performing the API testing? Okay, that's the thing, guys. Okay, Google Chrome just show request and response, but won't allow you to perform testing. Only happy path testing, the straightforward request, whatever the response should come, whatever the return status code should come, that you can check it. The only happy path is possible. But whatever the other type of testing, like negative testing by changing the domain name, changing the API method, by passing in invalid data, okay, incorrect data, all the negative test cases is not possible. Okay, if you use tools like Postman and all for performing the API testing, we can test all possibilities. Okay, that's the use of tools in API testing. Payload is input data, Anthony. Okay, input data. Payload means input data. Whatever the data. Not all API requests will need the input data, right? Some APIs, for example, login API requests will need email address and password. Okay, that input data will be provided in the form of payload. Okay, here Postman is giving a terminology for the input data that is called as a. Okay, this is a payload. This is called as a payload, guys. Okay, this is called as a payload. Okay, here in the browser they are showing it as a payload, right? When you have seen that in the browser they are showing it as payload. Payload is nothing but the input data. Okay, you go here and for login and all, you can see that payload actually. Okay, payload is nothing but the input data that you are passing. Okay, along with the API request, whatever the data that is required for you to pass. Okay, is called as a payload. Okay, so clear all this stuff. Click on login button. You will get this request. Okay, if you go here and see that there is a payload. Okay, payload will contain this input data. Okay, clear now? What is payload means? Okay, yeah. Everyone clear with this topic? Everyone clear with this topic? What is the use of tools in API testing is clear for you? Okay, then yeah, endpoints won't change, but as per the API, as per the you are doing something. Get means what? What the get will do. Endpoints won't change. Endpoints won't change when you change the API methods from get to post or post to get and all. Okay, but what will happen? This methods will tell you what type of operation you are going to perform with the help of API. From the server, what you are going to get. Get means you are getting some information. Post means you are posting the information. Able to understand? The purpose of the API methods is clear for you. Okay. Just by changing the API methods, it will not change the endpoint. You will still hit the same endpoint. But the problem here is you are hitting a wrong endpoint. You are doing a wrong operation at the endpoint. Okay. Whatever the endpoint you are hitting, you need to pass the data, but you are trying to get the data. That is the wrong thing, right? So API will behave in a wrong way. Okay. Even though endpoint is correct, the operation will be wrong. Okay. That's what. Okay, so every part of the API request, a method and all, there is a reason, okay, that we are going to learn anyhow in the upcoming things. Okay, so for now, this part is completed, guys. Now, let's go and look into the different API testing tools that are available in the market. Okay, what are the different API testing tools that are available in the market? Let me show you here. Okay, so here also for every topic we'll just do this kind of stuff, right? Today we'll take this ChatGPT link here, and here we'll write. Okay, so what is the use of tools like Postman, etc. in performing API testing? Let's see if any other information apart from our reach will come. So more explanation will come here, right? Tools like Postman are essential for performing API testing because they provide a user-friendly environment to interact with APIs, helping developers and testers verify functionality, performance, and security. Here is a breakdown of why tools like are widely used in API testing. Easy request creation and execution. Postman lets you create and send HTTP requests, okay, to an API endpoint, okay. You can easily add headers, parameters, request bodies, and authentication, okay. Okay, then you can also do using some tools, right? You can also automate the APIs. Okay, that is also possible in some other tools. Okay, response validation you can do. You can change the environments. A lot of other things are coming here. Okay, so but my question is something different. It has answered in a different way. That's okay. There are different tools and it's answering. What will happen if tools like Postman are not available for testing APIs? Okay. You need to use some command line tools, guys. There's the only option. If you don't have the user interface kind of tools like Postman and all, it will become difficult for you because you have to manually craft your API requests and using some command line tools and all. But we don't have to go through them because gone are the days where we have to do everything manually, right? Since we have the tools, we don't have to worry about that. Okay, like this, we have to send the request over the command line tools like curl and all this kind of tools are there in the market. Okay. Alternative saying and all those stuff. Okay, fine, that's okay. I'm just thinking in some direction and it's answering in some direction. So if Postman kind of tools are not available, okay, then it will become difficult for us to perform testing, okay, by editing the methods, request URLs, payloads, etc. Okay, we cannot do all this. You cannot test by changing the editing HTTP methods, requests, and modifying the headers and payloads. Testing with the different data sets and all those things won't be possible. Okay, it will become difficult. It will be possible because you have seen some alternative tools like command line and all, right? Using that, we can do that, but but still it will become difficult because everything you have to do it in a manual way. Okay, no visual interface will be there. Manual request construction and all need to be done, and it will be time consuming. Will waste a lot of time. So tools will be helping you a lot in such kind of process. Fine. Anyhow, so this is one way of understanding, and other way of understanding. If tools are not there, it will become very difficult for you to do these things in a manual way and time consuming way. We have to do the things. Okay. Now coming to the different type of API testing tools that are available in the market. Okay. So Postman is one such kind of tool. Then we have Ready API. Then we have Fiddler, Swagger, JMeter, Catalan Studio, Test Grid, Subject 7, Eggplant, Soap UI, Tricentis Tosca, UFT, all this kind of tools. Okay, for different purposes we can use this. Okay, we can go through one by one tool at a high level, guys. I don't want to demonstrate each and every tool for you. Okay, I don't want to demonstrate each and every the kind of tool for you and how these tools can be used for performing API testing. But at a high level, I would like to type in the chat GPT, using Postman tool for API testing. Okay, for RESTful APIs, it's kind of popular tool. It's saying. Okay, REST API type, REST style APIs. Okay, Postman is the best tool if you are performing testing of the REST style APIs. Okay, then Postman is the best tool. Okay, So how to use and all it's saying, okay, how to, you already have shown a demo, right? I already shown a demo, okay? I already shown a demo of how you can perform testing using the Postman tool and all, okay? Uh, write automation scripts also you can do, but we'll see it later if required. Okay, it's the R&D part, research part. It is actually we'll not go there for now. Okay, though a lot of things are possible with Postman, but we are not exploring the Postman right away, right? So just delay it for the upcoming sessions if required. Okay, a lot of other things you can set the environments, variables, and all the stuff. You can create collections and you can do the automation. Okay, a lot of things are there here. Visual interface automation you can do. Then environment support is there, collaboration, mocking and teamwork you can do. Collaboration means you can share all these APIs with your team and members and all. Okay. Simulate endpoints and monitor APIs and all those stuff. Okay. So this is advanced topics. We'll discuss them later. Okay. Then yeah, that's fine. What kind of testing we can do with APIs using Postman tool? Okay. Let's write like this. Let's see what time kind of answer it will give. Okay. Let's do some research. We are just doing research. Yeah, again, this will explain later, guys. Okay, it's giving me the testing types. I thought of something else, but what type of testing it is giving all the testing terminology here. That's okay. Security, performance, functional testing, non-functional testing, all the kind of testing, usability testing. Okay, negative testing, positive testing. It's giving all me the testing terms. Data-driven testing. Okay, performance testing. That is non-functional. Integration testing. Okay, we'll go and explore this later. Okay, smoke and sanity. These are general testing types. Mock testing. When the backend isn't ready, you can mock the APIs and perform testing. That is mock testing, it's say. Okay, so all this kind of testing we'll explore later anyhow. Okay, fine anyhow. Yeah, different type of testings we can do, including functional, non-functional, and automation. Everything kind of thing at a high level we can use it with the help of Postman. Okay, but is Postman completely free? I'll write it here. Is Postman tool completely free? Is Postman tool completely free? Okay, it's not free. It's giving different types here. Postman free plan is there. Oh, what you can do with this free plan, it's giving here. Apart from this free plan, there are paid plans like team, business, enterprise, and all. Okay, the one who want to go for want all this kind of team collaboration and all this kind of stuff, right? They can go for the paid plan. Okay, you can do a lot in free in Postman, including full feature API testing. But for scaling collaboration or enterprise needs, you eventually need a paid plan. Okay. If you want a teamwork to be done, in general real-time projects, teamwork is compulsory. Whatever the important things are only for learning, whatever that is there, they have made it free. But in real time, you have to share this collection of APIs with other people, team members, and everyone has to work together. Then the collaboration is removed off. Okay, scaling part and enterprise needs all gone off. Okay, so that's what is the thing. Fine. Next tool. What is the next tool? Do a lot of. Let's not waste a lot of time here. Okay. Next one is Ready API. Okay. Ready API for API testing. Okay. So Ready API is another tool, guys. It's a powerful enterprise grade tool from SmartBear designed specially for API testing. Okay. Especially SOAP and REST APIs. Okay. Earlier Postman was only for is mainly suitable for what? REST style APIs. But coming to the then this tool, but coming to this particular tool that is Ready API. The company behind this Ready API is a SmartBear company. Okay, and using this tool, you can actually test SOAP style APIs and REST style APIs. Okay, it's more comprehensive and feature rich compared to Postman. Advanced testing scenarios, you may use this. Okay, fine. So what is Ready API actually is a suite of tools. Okay, inside Ready API, what will be there? SOAP UI Pro will be there, Load UI will be there, Service V will be there, Secure will be there. Okay, SOAP UI Pro in this Ready API component will perform testing for REST and SOAP and other API styles also. Okay, well, load for performance testing of the APIs. Okay, under the ready API, all these components are there. Okay, together as a collection of tools is coming as ready API in the market. So SOAP UI also you have seen, right? For service mocking the APIs, we will get this component in ready API, and for performing security testing of the APIs, secure component is there in the ready API. Okay, all this kind of testing can be performed. If when to use ready API, if you want to test complex SOAP or REST APIs, okay, including security and performance testing, and all this kind of stuff. Okay, then you can go with the ready API. So then Fiddler is there. Let's Fiddler for API testing. Let's try it. One by one tool we'll explore. Okay. It's okay to, shake hands with the tools right before, even though whether we'll use them or not doesn't matter, but at least at a high level, knowing about some important tools that are there in the market for performing API testing will definitely help us, right? Fiddler is primarily a web debugging proxy tool, but it can also be used effectively for API testing and troubleshooting. Okay. It is different from Postman, or as it's more focused on capturing, inspecting, and modifying traffic rather than being a dedicated API testing platform. Okay, for tracking purpose. Okay, for traffic tracking, for capturing the traffic and all, you will be using that. Okay, Fiddler sits between your computer and the internet, capturing all the HTTP and HTTPS traffics. Okay, and it allows you to inspect, debug, and modify requests and responses. Okay, works well for APIs, web apps, and mobile apps, and basically anything that uses capture and inspect API requests, modify and replay requests, simulate slow or faulty networks, automate with, okay, secure testing and troubleshooting. For API development and testing, Postman. For Fiddler is for HTTP debugging and traffic capture. Okay, whatever that happens during the HTTP traffic, network related stuff and all. Okay, here you are not using Fiddler for API testing, rather you are using it for network traffic thing. Okay, Fiddler is an excellent tool for debugging, inspecting, and manipulating API traffic, especially useful when you want to analyze how your client interacts with APIs or troubleshoot issues. Okay, but if you want to build automation tests, run collections, or do compromise, perform API testing, Postman and Ready API are useful. Okay, uh, can you make it easy for us to understand Fiddler and how it is different from Postman? Fiddler is like a spy that sits between your computer and the internet. Okay, it captures all the web traffic going in and out. Can see exactly what your app or browser sends and receives. Headers, cookies, request body, response body, status codes. Okay, it's not about the API calls and all. It's about what kind of information our computer is sending on the internet. If you want to capture that, you can do that. Okay, if you get some API issues and all, how the things are happening, if you want to track them and all. Okay. Postman is like a remote control for APIs. It lets you build, send, and automate API requests easily. You can create requests from scratch or with templates. It has a friendly interface to edit URLs and all. Great for functional testing, automation, and collaboration. Okay. A magnifying glass and control panel that watches and tweaks live traffic coming from anywhere on your computer. Okay. This for tracking from your computer to internet. It sits between your computer and internet to track all the things. Okay. That's what is Fiddler. You can troubleshoot the API calls. Okay. So kind of stuff. Okay. You want to see all web traffic your app sends or receives, you have to go for Fiddler. Okay. You want to build and test new API calls, Postman. That's correct. You want to debug why an API call is failing, Fiddler. You can also use Postman, but Fiddler also you can use. Okay. You want to automate tests for APIs, Postman. You want to simulate slow network conditions, Fiddler. So different reasons are there why we have to go with Fiddler. Okay. Hope you got a high level idea. Let's not go deep though. Then we have Swagger. Swagger already we have seen, right? Swagger in API. Okay, API test. It provides an interactive API documentation UI called Swagger UI, where you can test API endpoints directly. Okay. I already have explained in the previous session about this. Okay. Swagger tool helps generate API definitions in a format called OpenAI specification. That UI part I have shown yesterday, right? So with the help of Swagger, the develop it will make easy developers work easy in generating the API documentation in a formal way. Okay. Auto generate the documentation for the developers. Okay. And testers also can use a Swagger UI documentation to directly hit the endpoints from the thing. Oh, sorry, Swagger instead of Swagger, I'm using sorry Swagger in API testing. Okay, that's right. Like swapping, I mentioned. Swagger UI provides a web-based interface where all API points are listed, and it will make the developer job easy and to create the API documentation and all. So yesterday we have seen that, right? It internally uses OpenAI specification to represent the API definitions and all. Okay, already we have seen in the yesterday session. Okay. Swagger is now part of OpenAPI in the initiative, so you might hear the term Swagger and OpenAI interchangeably. Okay, that's okay. Swagger is we are clear already. Then we have JMeter. Okay, JMeter, JMeter in API testing. Another tool. Okay, all the popular tools we are discussing, guys. Okay, we'll not go for every tool, but at a high level. Okay, JMeter is generally a tool for performance testing, guys. Okay, but also can be used for performing the functional testing. Though the main why people go for JMeter tool, guys, in the market is functional testing of APIs is a major reason why people go for JMeter? Do you think that the main reason why people go and use JMeter is for performing the functional testing of APIs? Do you think? Is it the main reason? The answer is no. The main reason why people go and use JMeter is for doing performance testing of the applications. Okay. Okay. So but it also supports functional testing of APIs, though it's not the major item of the JMeter, but you can still use JMeter for doing the functional testing of APIs also. Though it's not intent, its main intention is not for performing the functional testing of APIs, but we can use JMeter for performing the functional testing of APIs. The main reason why people in the market use JMeter is to do the performance testing of the applications. Okay. And you can do the performance testing of the APIs using JMeter though. Okay. We can, what are the kind of things we can do with help of JMeter in kind of API testing means performance testing we can do, functional API testing we can do, load testing of the APIs we can do. Okay. Integrate the APIs with CI/CD pipelines we can do. Okay. Supports all this stuff. Okay. That's okay. Simple explanation. Okay. We can do all this stuff. Okay. So we can see this later. Let's not go into a detailed manner here because now at this point of time we are not using JMeter for API testing purpose. When to use JMeter for API testing? Need to test any API under heavy load? Yes. Performance. Automate functional API test? Yes, but less user friendly. It's not the dedicated tool. Performance metrics. For performance testing purpose, use it. Okay. For simple manual testing of the APIs, better you go for the Postman or other things. Okay. Better you go for Postman or Ready API and all are the better tools for functional testing of the APIs. But if you want to deal with the performance aspects of the APIs or if you want to deal with the performance testing of the application, then generally people go with the JMeter. Okay. You see, you can use best for JMeter can be used best for performance and load testing of the APIs. Okay. Postman for functional testing. Ready API also enterprise level API testing or functional testing of the APIs. Okay. So like that, you are getting some clarity, right? Like which tools for which purposes we have to use and all. You are getting some clarity, right? So you can also use some tools like Catalan Studio, Test Grid, Subject 7. These are not popular ones, okay? The Postman is popular one, Ready API, you should know, Fiddler, you have to know, Swagger, you need to know, JMeter, you have to know. These kind of terms you will keep hearing in the market, okay? The first five. And Catalan Studio is a general automation tool, guys, okay? Not only API testing, you can do automation of the APIs or functional automation, UI automation, everything you can do using Catalan Studio. We have something known as Test Grid, Subject 7, Eggplant, or you see, SOAP UI is part of the Ready API anyhow. Tricentis Tosca is another automation tool. It can also do API testing, automation of the API testing. UFT can automate the APIs. This is an automation tool which can automate the APIs. Then we have VREST. What is VREST? We can search about, okay? We don't have to go this deep, but VREST in API testing. automated REST API testing. Okay. VREST is another one. HTTP master is there. HTTP master in API testing. Let's keep typing one by one. Windows based automation tool designed for testing and debugging REST and SOAP APIs. Okay. For both REST and SOAP. Then we have Ping API, REST assured automation. Okay. If you want to automate the APIs, Karate DSL, we have REST console, Hippie Swagger, PyRest test, Airborne, API pre-inspector, SOAP sonar, APIG, Parasoft, so test, and many more are there, guys. But remember the top one, two, three, four. If I have to list down the top, Postman is something you have to. This is compulsory, Postman. Okay. Ready API is something where, if you have worked with Postman, you can also understand Ready API automatically. Fiddler is for network and all they mentioned, right? Internet, computer, internet, network kind of stuff. Swagger is API documentation, you should know. JMeter is for performance testing of the APIs. And if you scroll down here and somewhere here, there is something known as REST assured. Okay. This is also important, REST assured. And apart from that, some automation tools are there here, which can be used for performing the API testing. Okay. Okay, that's okay. You can learn it. There's nothing much in, Ready API. From my context, I know one guy who knows Ready API. So someone has given a session on Ready API, if I remember properly, but that was not the detailed session. QFox Ready API. If you search like this, you'll get that thing, most probably. Where was the topic given? Long back or no? Okay, I don't. Maybe I'll go here, come down here to the Google Drive. Just see, just give me a second. Just give me a second. Nope. It should be somewhere, guys. Okay. So Ready API things should be somewhere. Mm, okay. Maybe here only. I'll do one thing. I'll just go to my channel here once and then see where exactly it is. Go to the playlist. If it is there, I can tell you if it is available or not. Mm, just give me a second. Yes, Ready API, all-in-one API testing platform. Okay, if you want to have a as you said, right, Pratibha, if you want to know more about this Ready API, you can get started here, Pratibha. Okay, Ready API, all-in-one API testing platform. Okay, just go here, and we may also have can see, but it requires license and all those stuff. We cannot go in depth. Okay, but you can also follow this guy. Okay, follow us. Okay, this is a guy who has given the session on Ready API earlier for me. Okay. But okay, you can find a lot of information on the web, but you can get started here, though. Let's not worry too much. Okay. Fine. This is another tool, okay? Like Postman tool, it's another tool. How to use it and all for performing what are the different capabilities, Ready API, how Ready API tool is kind of powerful when compared to Postman tool. If you want to see them, you have to explore Ready API tool, okay? That's just a tool, okay? What all it does for you for in terms of API testing, we have to understand, okay? So next thing, at a high level, I covered like what are the different tools, okay? Different tools in the market using which we can perform API testing though. Okay, a lot of things we are doing today. And let's go there again. Different API testing tools I covered. Different API testing tools. Okay. So here also, I'll do one thing. I'll go to ChatGPT and also list down different tools, for performing API testing. Okay. Postman, you see on the top, Postman is coming. So that's the reason in this session we'll be focusing more on the Postman. Then Swagger for API design, documentation, and interactive testing. We can use Swagger. Okay. Then we can use JMeter for performance and functional testing of API testing. Okay. These are the tools we have to use, guys. Okay. Ready API, SOAP UI Pro, advanced functional security and load testing of the APIs. Okay. Advanced functional security and load testing. If you want to go with an advanced functional testing of APIs or security testing of APIs or performance testing of the APIs, Ready API has a very good enterprise kind of risk solution is there. You can do that. Okay. Fiddler. Okay. HTTP debugging proxy tool and all those stuff. Okay. Then we have VREST for automate. Okay. Whatever I typed, it's giving me also. Okay. Popular ones there it's giving though. Automated REST API testing with minimal coding. Okay. If you codeless automation. Okay. If you want to do codeless API automation, then you can go with VREST. Okay. Then we have HTTP master, window based API test automation for window based. Okay. A desktop application type of, for that Catalan Studio all-in-one test automation tool, not only for API testing, but also you can use it for UI testing, codeless scripting and many other stuff. APIG, API management with testing features, API monitoring analytics and all those stuff. Then Karate DSL, API testing framework based on Cucumber, BDD style kind of stuff. SOAP UI, SOAP and this part of the open source part of the Ready API, which is kind of open source and free here. You can perform SOAP and REST API testing here using SOAP. REST assured framework, okay, using some Java programming language and all, you can perform code based. Okay, you can write some automation code for automating the APIs. Okay. Then Insomnia is there, lightweight REST client for testing. Okay. Like similar to Postman, but it is a very simple one. Okay. Lightweight kind of client. Okay. Postman is a heavy one, whereas, Insomnia is a very lightweight kind of software which can install and perform API testing. Mac only. For Mac people, Mac only API testing and client is there. And many other things are there. Okay. You see, choosing the right tool for manual and quick testing, Postman, Insomnia, and Swagger UI. For automation and functional testing, you can use Postman, Ready API, REST Assured and all. I'll prefer REST Assured for performance and JMeter. Okay, Ready API load and Gatling. For API debugging and networking, Fiddler, Charles Proxy. For enterprise level and complex workflows, you can go with Ready API, Catalan Studio, APG. Okay, like that, different tools are there for different requirements in terms of API testing. So hope you got some idea about different API testing tools. Okay, at least some idea. Okay, whether you don't know whether how to use these tools in the coming days and all, but at least some kind of shake can happen between you and the tools today from this session where you understood what type of tools can be used in API. Okay, for performing API testing. Clear, everyone? Guys, everyone clear with the list of tools that we should come across regarding? You see, just performing API testing is not enough, right? But when you go to different companies, different type of tools we have to use. You should have the general knowledge of the tools, right? That's why this session is important. Okay, you don't have to experiment all the tools, but at least, okay, at least if you know these tools, right, at least you will have a mindset, right? Okay, these tools can be used for API testing. Okay, that's what is important. And what are the different type of testings we can perform? Okay, these notes are a bit kind of wrong somewhere here and there. You cannot clearly follow these notes here, but I'll just prepare the notes for what type of testing you can perform with help of uh, you know what testing types we can perform on APIs. Okay, what are the different type of testings we can perform on APIs? What are the different types of testings we can perform on APIs. What are the different types of testings that we can perform on APIs, guys? What are the different types of testing we can perform on APIs? Using APIs, okay, we can perform different types of testing. Okay, using UI, we can perform different type of testing, like UI testing. We can perform performance, non-functional testing, functional testing, smoke, sanity, like the different type of testings we can perform using UI. But coming to the APIs, what are the different types of testing we can perform using the APIs? We can perform functional testing of APIs. Is it correct or not? We can perform functional testing. Okay, functional testing we can perform. Okay, different types of testing we can perform using APIs. Okay, general testing types can be performed, guys, whatever the knowledge you have. Functional testing to verify the API endpoints work as expected. Okay, so whatever that you are performing with the help of this Postman tool, okay, and giving some invalid data, valid data, and all this called as a functional testing, right? Whatever I showed you, small demonstration here using the Postman tool is nothing but the functional testing. That is nothing but the functional testing of the APIs. Okay, proper status codes are coming or not, response is coming or not. Okay, all those things we are going to verify about the APIs. That is called as functional testing. Under the functional testing, you can also perform negative testing. Okay, by giving some incorrect inputs. In case of here, instead of giving a valid email and password, we are giving empty emails. Okay, we'll not give proper email and password names. We'll give some different things. Intentionally, will modify and give the incorrect input. That is called as negative testing. Okay, so under functional testing only negative testing will come though. Okay. Negative testing. Then integration testing. Okay. Integration testing. Everyone clear about the negative testing? Guys, everyone clear about the negative testing here? As part of functional testing, you can also perform negative testing where you can give invalid data, incorrect data to see how the APIs are working in terms of input data. Okay. In place of email address, you will give something else. Okay. Which is in invalid email format. Invalid email address you will give, what will happen with the API. Okay, like that, all the kind of testing is called as negative testing. Okay, then integration testing, guys. Integration testing. What is integration testing? To test how well APIs interact with other components, example, database, microservices, etc. Let's look into more about integration testing of APIs now. Integration. Next one is integration testing of APIs. What is integration testing of APIs? Okay, integration testing of APIs checks how well different parts of the systems like services, database, or modules work together through the API. When you build an application, right, the application will be front end, back end, database, different layers of the application will be there. They have to communicate with help of APIs, right? Lot of different things about the application have to communicate with different components or different sections of the application or layers of the application via the APIs. Okay, so that kind of integration, okay, I already told you about the integration APIs, right? Kind of, okay. Rather than just checking if a single API works in isolation, like in a unit testing, you are verifying end-to-end workflows. Okay. Product discounts related API is actually taking you to payment gateway or not. Okay. Is interacting properly with payment gateway or not. Okay. Payment gateway API is actually taking you to orders thing or not. Okay. Like that, integration APIs. Okay. Integration testing of the API to check the end-to-end workflows. Okay, one API response will be given as an input to the another API. Okay, such kind of chained API behaviors will be there. Different components or layers of the application have to interact with this API. Such kind of testing of such kind of APIs, which are, kind of becoming the channel between different components or different, okay, end-to-end flows of the system or whatever it is called as API integration testing. Okay, ensure API interact correctly with other systems or modules. Okay, multiple endpoints are working together properly or not. Okay, example scenarios are there. Let's try to understand. Okay, testing a user registration flow that uses multiple APIs. User registration: create a new user, sends a welcome email, and fetches user details. Integration test steps: expect success response, validate user exists in the database. Okay, then is triggered or mock integration test steps. Okay, in the database you are checking, and also is triggered or mocked successfully. Okay, so email is being sent or not, you are checking. API interactions ensure service talks to each other's response chaining. One API output feeds to another one. Okay, database changes, backend updates correctly or not. different layers APIs are interacting. Okay, we can use tools like similar tools like Postman and all those stuff. Okay, can you make make this easy to understand with better examples? Let's see what it will come. Let's see. Okay, kind of more clarity we'll get. Okay. What is integration testing of APIs? Imagine different apps or parts of the system of your systems working together through APIs. Integration testing checks that. Okay. How the different parts of the application or how the different systems working together are working via the APIs we have to check. Okay. Those are the integration testing of the APIs. Each part talks to other part correctly and passes the right data. Okay. It's like checking if plumbing between rooms in a house is working. Okay, not just the sink, but the pipe from the sink to the drain and maybe from the drain to the water treatment system are working. Okay, how the different components of the system are integrating are together working via the APIs. We have to check such kind of APIs. We call them as integration testing of the APIs. Okay, online shopping example. You can go to an e-commerce site, add a product to your cart, proceed to the payment, and receive an email confirmation. Each of these steps use end-to-end flow. Right, this is an end-to-end flow. Okay, all these things. Okay, all this together are integrating and working together. Integration testing will test the interflow. Did the product actually get added? Was the payment process? Did the email get sent? All in one test to ensure all APIs works together. All these APIs are working together is called as integration testing of the APIs. Okay. Same thing again. Okay. All the APIs should work together. Okay. And our different components of the system or different layers of the system also should work together. That involves a integration testing of the APIs. Okay. Okay. You can clearly understand this, right? To prepare a cake, we need to do mixing, baking, and icing. Okay. Individually can perform testing. That is unit testing of the APIs. Okay. So here we can also write one word like, unit testing of the APIs. Okay. Unit. As part of the functional testing, we can do the unit testing of the APIs. Okay. Unit testing of the APIs where individual APIs will be tested together. Okay. And also we can do integration testing. Integration testing of the APIs also will do end-to-end flows. Multiple APIs together, they are able to get the things done or not is integration testing. Simple. Let's go back. Hope you are able to understand the integration testing of the APIs, everyone. Hope you guys are able to understand the integration testing of the APIs. Guys, is that clear? Integration testing of APIs is clear for you? Or any confusions? Okay. Then performance testing, anyone knows that, right? The user load and all, okay? Well, I already explained about this, I think so. Performance testing of the APIs. Single API request, what you will do as part of performance testing or load testing of the APIs, what you will do? You will send. Okay, same request will hit multiple times, okay, at the same simultaneously. Okay, same endpoint you will hit simultaneously multiple times. Okay, what will happen? Load on the server will increase and see whether the server is able to respond to the load or not. Such kind of testing we can done. Okay, to assess the API speed, responsiveness, and scalability and all. Load testing, stress testing, all this kind of performance testing types we can do with the, you know, and the best tool for this is JMeter, okay, where you can just number of users who need to use this API, do the API requests simultaneously, that you can mention the JMeter kind of tools. Okay, that is what is performance, non-functional testing. So you can perform non-functional testing of the APIs, non-functional testing of APIs. That is, okay, what happened? Okay, let's write it again. It's gone. Non-functional, functional testing. Okay, I'll better write it this side otherwise. Okay, non-functional testing, and non-functional testing will get performance testing. Under performance testing, different testing types we can perform, guys, like load testing, stress testing. Under performance testing, we can perform load testing of APIs, stress testing of APIs, okay, and other types, etc. I can write etc. Okay, etc. Fine, done. I'll do one thing. I'll just drag it down. The next one, security testing. Okay. In security testing, we can test the APIs for security testing also. Okay. Non-functional testing only. Another testing will come, that is security testing. What will happen in security testing, guys? How do you perform security testing of the APIs? What do you think? What are the different aspects or examples that you can give for security testing here? CIA tried will be there, confidentiality, integrity, authentic, authorization or whatever, authentication, authorization kind of stuff. You'll try to give some SQL injection where, you know, kind of payloads the hacker can enter into the API calls. Okay. Hacker can put some kind of data or payloads in terms of real data. For example, here, in place of this email address, hacker will put something like this. Okay. Hyphen, hyphen, slash, question mark, some kind of symbols and all. Okay. If you worry about SQL injection, you will get to know that kind of payload. Okay. SQL injection payloads. If I type in Google, right, you'll get it. Okay. SQL injection payload. So SQL injection cheat sheet or payload. In that, we'll get some payloads here. I'm just guessing. Mm, I don't know where I can get it. Okay. SQL injection payload example. Again, the same thing. Okay. At least I don't remember the example, so I'm trying to find it out. Okay. Yeah, here, this kind of stuff. Okay. 1 is equal to 1. Okay. Hyphen, 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 hyphen. 1 is equal to 1, like that will be payloads will be like that. Okay. Hyphen, hyphen. 1 is equal to 1, like that kind of payloads will be there. Yes. When the hacker gives this kind of thing in place of the email address and password, right? What will happen? You may get access to the admin credentials. Okay. Authentication will be compromised. Okay. So hacker can do all those kind of things. As a software tester, what we have to do, even though this kind of payload is given by the hacker, the API should give a proper response without, revealing the details of the database or something, by using which the hacker will get some access to the admin section of the application, etc. That's what we need to take care as part of the security testing. Okay. That's what is security testing is. Okay. And sessions will be there, tokens will be created, right? For login, some token will be created, whether the tokens are created properly or not. For example, session timing is correct or not. Okay. All these things we can check with the help of security testing. A lot of things will be there, guys, about cookies or something, proper cookies, how the cookies are there and all the stuff we can verify. Okay. Then we have regression testing. In functional testing only, what is regression testing. I don't have to explain regression testing, right? Then validation testing, general API testing only. Then data driven, same API but different type of data you will pass. Okay, unit testing already mentioned. Those are the major ones, guys. So these are the major ones. Okay, functional, negative, unit testing, integration testing, and apart from that, you can also have usability testing. Usability testing. Usability testing means what? This is not for testing team, guys. This is not. This is like to see like APIs are usable by developers. Will not test it much actually. This usability testing is not generally done much, okay, in the market. But if someone is doing usability testing also of the APIs, right, they generally do that. These APIs are kind of usable by the developers. Okay, developers have to integrate this UI with the APIs, right, with the code base and all, or to get the integration as a middleman. They have to use the APIs, right? So are the developers able to use these APIs as a middleman between the UI and backend, in a front end and backend in a proper way, in a usable way? That's what is usable testing in case of here. Okay. Then we have some other kind of testings here, guys. That is, mm, a lot of other testing types are there. Interoperability testing is there. Interoperability testing means the same APIs, if when used for web applications, mobile applications, desktop applications, right? Are different technologies and systems, right? Are the APIs working properly with different technology systems and platforms? Is called as interoperability testing. Okay, I'll write it here. Interoperability of API testing. Okay, if you say this, the ability of different systems, applications, platforms to work together with the APIs. Okay, can the APIs can interact with all these things, different platforms, systems, technologies, applications, okay? All those things, okay? You see, you have a Java-based backend, a mobile application, Python script. All these things are able to use APIs or not, okay? The built APIs by the developer or not. That is called as interoperability testing of the APIs, okay? Like many terms are there. Keep going, it will keep going, guys, okay? Interoperability testing of APIs, okay? Like there are many types of testings of APIs are there, guys. You can go and explore them, okay? Fine. I'll not change anything here. And you can also do the automation testing of the APIs also. You can also automate the automation testing, okay? Automation testing of APIs. Automation testing also, you can say, okay? These are the different types we have. I'll do one thing. I'll just take a screenshot here and then cut. And then I'll do one thing. I'll just remove this, guys, okay? There are different testing types I mentioned here, but I'll remove this. It's not required. I'll just add this. You can explore yourself on this, okay? Blank document, create and share. Here 19, right? 19 I'll write down. 19 dot, okay? Different testing types we can perform on APIs, okay? Image I'll paste it here, okay? And many others, and many more, and many more, and many more we can do. Next. Next is something here, okay? That I'm going to cover here. Whatever the next thing that I'm going to cover here is this one. That is URI. This is one important topic, is important concept of you need to understand. There's one reason why I'm covering this kind of theoretical topic here, okay? Because these terminologies will be used in real time. Some people will use this kind of terminologies in real time, so you need to understand, okay? So what are they? URI, URL, URN, okay? So everyone type in the chat box, guys. URI versus URN versus URL. Okay, this is the topic. Okay, you need to have this knowledge of, whenever you are learning API testing and all, right, everyone should have this knowledge of URI, URN, URL. Okay, what are they? So everyone knows URL, right? Everyone knows URL, I think so. Yes or no? What is URL? Basically, what is URL? What is the full form of URL? What is that? What is the full form of URL? Universal
Un
Resource Locator, right? URL meaning, URL full form, otherwise, okay? URL full form. URL full form is Universal. Okay, it's not universal, it's uniform. Okay, sorry. So URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. Uniform Uniform Resource Locator. Okay, how does the URL will look like? It's a very simple URL example. If I have to give https colon / www.qfox.com. Is it an example of a URL? Yes or no? Is this an example of a URL, guys? This is an example of the URL. Okay, this is how the URL will look like. This is how a URL will look like. Okay, here it will locate, guys. Okay, URL will locate the resource. The purpose of the URL is to locate a resource. Locate a resource. Okay, that means address of the resource will be there. If you hit this URL, what will happen? The resource will come. The resource will come. Either it may be HTML page or JavaScript code or some image or something will come. Okay, URLs will be used for some. Is this the only example of the URL, guys? Is this the only example of the URL? Is this the only example of the URL? No. URLs can be having different types also. FTP colon double slash. Okay, can be there. Some kind of information will be there. SMTP kind of things will be there. A lot of URLs types will be there. Okay, so here general URL will be like this. Okay, so types of URLs. Otherwise, I'll just simply write down URL versus URN versus URI. Okay, you'll get. Okay, URI. Okay, if I write like this, you will get a lot of information here. Uniform resource identifier. It generally, its purpose is to identify resource. Okay, it may use a protocol known as HTTP protocol, or URL is something like this. Can you see this? There's another example for the URL. FTP colon. FTP colon. Like this can also be an example of a URL. Okay. Here protocol is different. Here protocol is different. Different examples. Different examples or varieties of URL. A lot of people think that URL will be something like this only, HTTP colon kind of, okay? But the URL can be of different type of formats. HTTP, HTTPS URLs will be like this. This is one type of URLs. File URLs can be there, okay? You may be thinking that only HTTP are the type of URLs, but other type of URLs are what? File URLs. File colon like this, path of the file. These are file URLs. FTP URLs. Okay, protocol is different. Okay, then SMTP or mail to URLs. Okay, like there are many type of URLs will be there. Many type of URLs will be there. These are called as URLs. URLs will locate the some resources on the internet. Okay, different type of URLs will locate different type of resources on the internet. Okay, the purpose of the URLs is to locate the resources on the internet. Okay, the purpose of this file URL is to locate a document on the internet. Okay, the purpose of this HTTP or HTTPS URL is to locate the HTML page kind of thing on the internet. Okay, the purpose of this thing is to locate the mail on the internet. Okay, like that. Many type of URLs will be there, guys. Okay, different type of URLs will be there. Okay, all these kind of things can be called as URLs. Okay, FTP, HTTPS, mail to. Okay, many type of URLs will be there. Cool. Okay, but most of the famous ones are most of the famous type of URLs are HTTP kind of URLs only. Okay, the famous kind of URLs in the market are HTTP kind or HTTP or HTTPS kind of URLs. Okay, and here URL will stands for Uniform Resource Locator. It is a string of characters used to locate a resource on the internet. Okay. What is the purpose of the URLs, guys? The purpose of the URLs is to locate a resource on the internet. Okay. Is to locate a resource. Okay. On the internet or whatever it is. Okay. Is to locate a resource on the internet. Okay. The purpose of the URLs is to locate a resource on the internet. Okay. This is what internet is something you need to understand. The purpose of the URLs is to locate the resources on the internet. This is what is called as the URLs. Then what about the URNs? What about URN? What is URN then? If URL is to, the purpose of the URL is to locate a resource on the internet, then what is the purpose of the URN, guys? Then what is the purpose of the URN? What is the purpose of the URN then? Here URN stands for Uniform Resource Identifier. The name itself speaks. Uniform Resource Identifier. What does it do, guys? What is the purpose? Can you tell me with the name? If I say uniform resource identify, what does it do? It will locate or identify. It will locate or identify, guys. It will only identify, it will not locate. It doesn't know where actually the resource is available, but it can identify the resource. It can identify the resource. Getting my point? The purpose of the URNs is to identify a resource on the internet, etc. On the internet or system or software, etc. Okay. The purpose of the URL is to identify a resource. The purpose of the URL is to locate a resource. Okay. The purpose of the URL is to locate a resource, whereas purpose of the URL is to identify a resource. It's something like, you know, uh, it's something like there is one kind of fort. Okay. Let's say there is one fort. Okay. So like Amer Fort is there. Okay. In Jaipur, there is one fort known as Amer Fort. Okay. So when I say Amer Fort, when I say Amer Fort, am I identifying the place or am I locating the place? Tell me. When I say Amer Fort, I'm identifying the place, popular place at Jaipur, or am I, locating it? Tell me, guys. When I say Amer Fort, am I locating or identifying? You are identifying. We are giving a name. With the help of name, you are identifying. Okay, URNs are like names, identifying the place, but not locating. How to locate this place? How to locate this place? I have to give the address of the Amer Fort. Address of the Amer Fort means locating the place, right? Address of the Amer Fort is nothing but the locating the place. Getting my point, guys? Clear? If I simply give the name means identifying the place. If I give the address of the Amer Fort, if I give means locating the place, right? Here, giving like a name is called as URN. Okay, so that you can identify. No other fort will have the same name, right? In India, if you go and check the forts, this whatever the fort that is there in Jaipur with the name Amer Fort is only one. Okay, unique identity is there. Okay, but we are not giving the address. But if you give the address also, that will become URL. Okay, address means it will become URL. Okay, address means it will become URL. This is URN. This is URL. Getting my point? Clear, guys? URNs will be like this format. Okay, URNs will be like this. URN colon. Okay, books URN colon books 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and some number, some ID of the book, a particular book. If you want to identify a book in the library, for example, if there is a library management system software is there, in that one of the book need to be identified with a unique number that no other book uses, URNs can be given. Okay, URNs can be given. Okay, there is a lot of in-depth topic about the URNs and all. We don't have to dig deep now, but this much of knowledge is enough. URN is like a identification. URL is like a locating the place. Okay, address kind of stuff. Okay, URLs will look like this. URLs will look like this. And URL's purpose is to identify the resource. Okay, URL's purpose is to locate the resource. Now, there's something, another term known as URI. There's another term known as URI. What is this URI? URI stands for, there's another thing known as URI, guys. Okay, there's another thing known as URI. The Uniform Resource Identity. Sorry, what did I do? Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Sorry, here I have to give a different name, guys. Sorry, I gave wrong thing. Rectangle. Remove this. URN stands for name. Okay, it's like a name, right? It's like a name. Sorry, I just got confused and gave this as identifier. It's name actually. Okay, the purpose of the URN is to identify. Okay, identify. It's like a name, giving a name. Okay, uniform resource name. It only identifies. It will not locate where exactly it is. It will not tell you. But the purpose of the URL is a uniform resource located. Its purpose is to locate the resource. This its purpose is to identify the resource with a when that particular resource comes before you, whether an image or some item comes before you, you will understand what exactly it is with the help of URN. Okay, every book will have a unique URN kind of stuff. Okay, like a name and all. But where it is located, where the book is available on the internet or something, URL will not tell you that. URL will tell that. Okay. But there is something known as URI. The full form of the URI is Uniform Resource Identifier. Okay. Uniform Resource Identifier. Identifier. What does URI means? URI is equal to, simple definition, simple thing to understand URI is URL or URN. Getting my point, guys, here? URI means the URLs can be called as URI. URNs can be called as URI. URI means some people in our projects, when you are working in some projects, right, instead of calling the URL as URL, they'll call the URL as URI. Is it okay? Most of the cases will not come across this kind of things. Most of the cases will not come across URNs. Okay, when you perform testing in API testing and whatever is, you will get URLs, not URNs, right? So most of the cases you will get URL. And some people will be, instead of calling them as URL, some people will be calling them as URI. Is that okay? Is that okay, guys? Most of the cases will come with URL. Okay? URLs can be called as URI. URNs can also be called as URI. But in our real time, when you perform API testing, whatever the request methods, request URL you are giving, right? Request URI, they will say. Okay? Instead of saying request URL, they will say request URI. Both are same. Are both same or not? So here is simple fundamental, guys, all URIs are not URLs. All URIs are not URNs. URIs can be either URLs or URNs. But all URLs are URIs. All URNs are URIs. Able to understand the clarity? Are you able to get the clarity, guys? Okay. All URIs cannot be URLs. All URIs cannot be URNs. If you say URI means that URI can be URL type of URI or that URI can be URN type of URI. It's a mix of the things it can be. But when I say URLs, all URLs can be called as URIs. All URNs can be called as URIs. Okay. So people will use these terms interchangeably, guys. In most of the cases, the focus should be on URI and URL. Okay. Instead of calling request URL, people will be calling them in the market as URIs, request URIs sometimes. Should not get confused. Okay. So under the URIs, we have URLs and URN. Okay, a parent name is like URI. Okay, URI can be URL or URN. So instead of calling that a URL, some people call them URLs as URIs also. Should be okay with that. Clear, everyone? Clear, everyone? What is URI, URL, URN? This kind of questions may come in the interviews. You should be able to answer them. Okay, guys, clear? So here, Amerfort is a URI. Address of the Amerfort is also URI. Both can be called as URIs. Okay, URL can be called as a URI. URN also can be called as URI. Okay. Locating a resource or identifying a resource. Something is locating a resource or identifying a resource. Those are called as URIs. Okay. So all URIs, URLs are URIs, all URNs are URIs, but all URIs are not URLs or URNs. Okay. So because different type of things will be coming in URIs. Okay. Fine. Everyone clear with this? You guys clear with these concepts of URI, URL, URN? Today's session, is that clear for you? Is it clear with the concepts of URI, URL, URN for you? Great. Okay. This kind of important, guys. Sometimes instead of I call the things as URL, I'll be calling the things as URIs. You should be okay with that. If you know this concept, you will be okay with that. If you don't know this concept, you'll not understand why people are calling the URLs as URIs. You will get confused. Okay. This is what is the important thing. You need to get it to understand what are URIs, URNs, and URLs. And URLs can be called as URIs. Even URNs also can be called as URIs. Okay. So instead of most of the cases in real time, we'll come across something known as URLs, and URLs can be called as URIs. That's okay. Okay. That you understood anyhow from the today's session. Okay. So, so today what did I cover so far? Use of tools in API testing, different API testing types we can do. And, you know, then I covered about different types of testing we can do on APIs. Then I have explained about the difference between URI, URL, URN, all those stuff, right? And yeah, so we are almost coming near to the practical topics, guys. Okay, so before that, we need to complete all the theoretical topics and all. So we'll do one thing. We'll stop here for today, guys. We'll stop here for today. Okay, so there are other concepts like different components of URL and endpoints and base URL, tail URL. Lot of concepts are there. Okay, which I'm going to cover in the upcoming sessions. Okay, that is in the next weekend. Next weekend, the topics for the next weekend will be like different components of URL, then endpoint. This will take a lot of time. That's why I'm not covering today. Okay, if I can complete in 15 or 20 minutes, I would have taken, but it will take more time. So I'll make this in a detailed session in the next weekend. And then we have endpoint and base URL and tail URL. Okay, and then we have HTTP methods, HTTP status codes, response status codes. Okay, so a lot of other stuff are there. Okay, so that slowly we'll move into the practical side of the things in the coming sessions. Okay, next weekend, a lot of things will be more useful for you, the practical sessions. But till now, we have covered a lot of theoretical topics, but which are still useful, guys, when you attend the interviews. No matter you have done a lot of API testing in your companies, in the interviews, they'll keep asking you a lot of questions on APIs. You should be able to answer them. Okay. Though you have performed API testing in real time, okay, including me, guys, okay, I have worked on a lot of projects, but When I attend the interviews, I'll not be able to answer the questions because I don't know all these theoretical topics. I should be aware of all these theoretical topics. Despite of working on API testing in different projects in different companies, I should be knowing all these theoretical topics of APIs before I attend the interviews. That's the reason I am giving a lot of importance for these theoretical topics. Should not take it light, guys. We should have the profound knowledge, okay? Complete knowledge of this APIs, theoretical way and also the practical way that we are going to cover or we are going to see next in the upcoming sessions. Okay, fine. Anyone have any questions before we wind up for today? Anyone have any questions before we wind up? Yeah, unit testing means individual. You see, unit testing in APIs is something different, Rohit. Okay, unit testing in API is something different. You should not compare with unit testing of the code that developers will do. Right, that is not what is unit testing in case of API. Okay, unit testing of API means for a particular activity an API request will be there, right? That you are testing it separately. That is called as unit API testing. Getting my point, Rohit? End-to-end API testing you are not doing. That means combination of APIs you are not testing. Like, one thing for place, like offers, selecting a product containing an offer, then, doing a payment, placing the order. Multiple APIs will be there. If you are combining the APIs and checking whether all these APIs are together working fine, okay, it's called as integration testing of APIs. Whereas if you are testing this such functionality of the APIs of the such functionality is there, okay? If you are testing that API separately, if you are testing that API separately for such functionality, that is unit testing of the APIs. Clear, Rohit? Whatever I was performing here, where I am testing the login, testing the API testing of login API testing is nothing but unit API testing only. Clear? Rohit, is that clear? Here, whatever the example I gave is unit testing of the API only. Okay, if I'm using multiple APIs and one response of one API is going for as an input for another API and another response of that API is going as an input to another API, that is called as integration testing of APIs. Turn, don't compare this with the general SDLC models and all. Okay, in real time, four levels of software testing will be there, right? Unit testing, integration testing, system. That is a different story. In case of APIs, if you take say unit testing means individually testing a particular API is called as unit testing. Combination of APIs for end-to-end flows testing is called as integration testing. Okay, that you should be aware of. Any other questions, anyone? Does anyone have any other questions from today's session? So today I'll give you one assignment, guys. Okay, though it's not required really, but I'll give you one assignment just for the sake, so that you'll have some, understanding of the things. Assignment is assignment is explore. Okay, go to the internet and explore different API testing tools in the market. Okay, explore different API testing tools in the market and use them to some extent. Okay, that is what is the assignment I am giving you. It's an optional assignment. If you do it right, it will increase your confidence. Okay, I just at a high level said that JMeter will be used for performing the performance testing of the APIs, but I didn't show you how to use that. Right, you just go as part of the assignment, you go and try to use JMeter, and that is just a tool, right? You just find out in ChatGPT or something, you follow the instructions and install the JMeter and try to perform the performance testing of the API in the JMeter. Okay, try that out. Okay, I'm just asking you to try that out. Okay, different tools, you try it out at a high level or just see some sample information that is available on the web regarding different tools in the market. Okay, that's what I want you guys to try it. Okay, as an assignment. Any other questions, anyone? Apart from the assignment and questions that you have just now, anyone have any other questions? Let me know. Okay, fine then. If you don't have any questions, we'll wind up for today and we'll meet next weekend. Tomorrow onwards, again, Selenium Java sessions will start, guys, as usual. And again, on weekends, API testing sessions will continue. Okay, yeah. Bye, everyone. See you. Take care.